Okay.
Yeah,
So
welcome to this last match for today. It is the second match of today in Group D, played between Vladimir Bochnicka from Slovakia and also Anton from Sweden. We had earlier today the match between Martina Starosta and Daniel Kompel, which was eventually won by Starosta, and that means that she's she has 6 points after these first two games, two
Yeah.
matches, and she will be competing with most likely Bochnicka in
Yeah.
the
they both won by the same margin against Daniel, so maybe who knows?
yeah
I think that would
they're
be an
gonna have
exciting
a
matchup.
they're gonna have a deciding game, and they're gonna have a deciding match next game if
Right. So
if
we can
Bochnicka wins today.
probably check whenever Anton is playing. He
Yeah,
is playing right now. So let's check that out. We've got another London system. Just like how we played against Martina in the first game.
Should we check so the cameras are working and everything?
Alright, yeah. Oh, yes, I should go here. Yeah, it seems like they're working. Perfect.
Yeah, I think so too. So we have some sort of King's Indian approach to the London system. Knight d7 now played, intending e5, obviously. It's an incredibly boring opening. And
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I hate Anton for playing this way, but but you know, it's what he does.
Yeah, so now, whoa, e4? The knight is trapped.
Knight is not trapped. Knight
Oh,
e1.
oh, knight e1, of course.
But,
I just thought, oh, when you castle, there's no g1 square, but okay.
but all the same, I don't know why you would allow e4 because the knight is not great here.
Yeah, sure.
And black is gonna be able to start. I mean, ideally you would like to play c6 d5, and then you would have a big advantage.
Yeah. So maybe you'd want to maneuver to d8, but perhaps that's a bit slow.
Yeah, that's a bit slow, and also you gotta remember that if you play knight d8, white might drop back, and if you then go c6, knight c4.
Yeah.
So I like this much more. He's intending f5, g5, f4. He's gonna roll Anton over on the king side, and that could be a bit worrying, you know.
Do you think breaking with f3 could be an idea here? And if
Yeah,
pawn takes, queen takes.
That's definitely a way to go. You need also a square for this knight, obviously. So you would like to go somewhere like, for example, knight c2. But the knight, I was gonna say that I'm not a huge fan of this move because the knight is not great here. I would much rather have played your move,
Yeah.
f3. So and he goes f3 now, but it makes much less sense, I think, to do it now. Knight f6 is likely, and now black is getting ready for d5, and if he gets d5 in, well, it's depressing to be Anton.
Yeah.
This is a knight. That's
okay. So if knight takes on e4 now, oh, okay, bishop d5. That's interesting. I guess.
yes, he wants to force the pawn to capture there. I'm not sure why he would mind the pawn capturing on e4, really, but I
mean, one thing is that you're gonna take on f8, and you're gonna have to take with the bishop, I guess. So I mean, maybe bishop d7.
I sort of dislike knight takes e4 here. I don't know why he wouldn't take with the pawn.
But all right.
Yeah, but I like your move bishop d7, just connecting the rooks, also protecting the knight. I was about to suggest knight f6 as well, but
bishop f3, or maybe you can just go back to, yeah, I mean, bishop f3, you're gonna try to do this e4 push, kind of.
Yeah, it's very strange why you would take with the knight and then go back when you could have just taken with the pawn. I mean, given the choice, I would prefer the pawn here, probably. Like, if I could play pawn to e4 now, I would do it.
So d5. He's taking a lot of control over the e4 square, which I think is a good idea. But at the same time, you know, whenever you go knight e4, you can maybe even take on e4, and suddenly it's kind of hard to attack this e3 weakness.
Yeah, and you also gotta remember that this square now, in the future, if a knight can hop around to this square, that will be very nice for white. Okay, so Anton is getting ready to bring the rook into the game, most likely. I'm sure. Okay, actually, bishop d7 is not great because the pawn is.
I wonder if maybe Anton is going to break with c4 somehow.
That's actually a very good idea. Breaking with c4. I like that a lot.
Maybe now, because after pawn takes, knight takes, suddenly kind of you get in this e5 square, as
Oh.
we mentioned.
I accidentally
Oh,
guessed
yeah,
c4.
right. Right.
And he
It
plays
does-
c4.
Oh, you should
so
have
I'm-
guessed it.
Yeah, I should have guessed it. I should have guessed it.
Right. Okay, so I guess pawn takes, knight takes, and you controlling the e5 square as mentioned.
Yeah, and basically, I think Vladimir's solutions here have not been great. I think Anton has.
He should be happy here.
Yeah, I
Maybe
think-
95 immediately.
I think he's happy. That being said, I don't think Vladimir is unhappy.
Yeah.
But I think, but especially like this knight on c2 is weird. Like
That's true.
it protects here, but
But it has a very good potential in a sense. If it goes, let's say, 91, 93, it's
Yeah, exactly.
extremely good. But will we see that? Because there's potentially
knight,
not enough
knight
time for
comes
that.
d4. Yeah, he plays 94. Now black is gonna use the c5 break probably.
Right.
You could take this with either queen or king, and
So-
then c5 is up next. Rook e8, rook d8.
E3 is very weak as well. So, for example, if bishop takes g4, what the fuck? It's hanging. The queen's hanging.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
That was a sad way to start that game.
Right.
So we have an Alacam from Anton. We know that I know, and you know as well,
Yeah.
that he enjoys this. I cannot really tell you why. It's a poor opening.
I mean, it
But-
is quite decent in blitz in a sense because there's quite a lot of weaknesses for white.
Yeah,
although you have
that's-
this huge. Actually, I think knight f3 isn't that good because you have bishop g4, but now it's kind of, I don't know. You usually want to go bishop e3 immediately. Still, I think.
I do not actually know about this.
I think.
I always go knight f3 here to avoid having too many weaknesses.
I mean, this is good for. Okay, so.
So he went here, and I took with the rook. It looks to me like white is just having a nice center here.
Right, so now
If
e6.
you wanna, you could continue like that. I mean, I do wanna, but I'm not sure if I can. I assume he will meet e6 with f5,
Right.
opening this bishop.
And then on d5, maybe knight e5 or a5, trying to put pressure on c4, and you can't really go. And wait, f5, d5 is knight e5, you're threatening the rook, right? And c4, so that's kind of a problem.
Yeah, that's a bit of an issue.
Yeah, and obviously you can't go.
But if you can't go east, okay, wow,
that's a typical idea actually in this opening.
that looks very strong, because you wanna go, you have to go there, kind of. It
And
feels
then
like.
bishop c4, you have to
Yeah.
go e6, I guess.
But knight d5, I could also meet it with a move like queen b3.
Yeah, that's also a move. I was thinking about this. You're threatening
Whoa.
pawn takes d4. So I was guessing rook takes f8, maybe. And if you take on b6,
What about
then d4?
d5 here?
Oh, right, that's a move. That's
Or take first and then d5. It looks very
Yeah.
bad. What? How do you defend after
I'm not
d5?
even sure if it's possible actually. Yeah, d5.
d5 played, and now
Ooh,
that
d6 back.
that could be 2-0 a bit too quickly.
Yeah.
Because that's like, even if this, I mean, I would take white even if you could move both of these knights away.
Yeah.
I would still take white because of
True.
this horrible. And now you're just winning a knight. It seems like so. I'm sure Anton is not gonna resign, but
I mean, he might.
no, he never does.
apart from when he goes queen to
Yeah.
queen, I guess.
But this is bad news. Maybe that's not the most difficult statement to make, but but definitely things have not gone at all in the way that Anton wanted. Obviously, the move queen f2 is a bit hard to get over.
Yeah, of course.
um,
So now bishop c4. I guess he's going to try to complicate the position with b5.
yeah, he will. But the thing is, this pawn is not hanging.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he plays bishop g4. Actually, now it is hanging.
No, because bishop e6.
Oh, and it's a pin on the knight.
Yeah.
So. Oh, that's nasty.
Yeah, but you just go king h8 here, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see the point to bishop g4 because that's not even a threat.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
I guess you take on d4 and then play bishop e6.
Okay, that's actually true. Yeah, this looks very bad. I'm expecting resignation at any moment. Maybe he's gonna take this and miss bishop e6.
I mean,
I'm
or
gonna-
just resign.
I'm gonna guess it.
No.
Yeah, I mean, if I could guess a move here for black, I would guess resigns. He
Okay,
plays
king
king
e8.
h8, but now I think he will do your idea of taking this and playing
He's gonna play something complex like queen
Or
f4
even-
or something. I don't know, but that just doesn't work. Okay, so,
Okay, he does do something like that, but rook takes d5. I guess.
I mean, that's probably
Yeah,
decent.
like what else really?
But wait, he has 3 pawns though.
Oh,
Maybe this isn't that easy.
yeah. If you manage to take this with a pawn, I think maybe it would be something. But
I mean, even with the rook.
yeah, but the problem is this one is so bad, and you're
Yeah.
getting mated. Like, let's say I play queen e2, you take with the
Yeah,
rook.
but then I
I
take
play
with the
rook.
pawn. I was thinking, but like, let's say queen b3. You're threatening my rook. I have to take with a rook then. But then I'm
Yeah, but then you at least get a tempo on the
Yeah,
knight. Even
exactly.
that rook f1, I think is bad news.
yeah. I mean, obviously it's bad news, but I mean it's something. Yes. After d5, I thought it would be
Yeah.
much more resignable.
Yeah, and I mean, even if this is nothing, Vladimir is thinking, which means that he's not sure.
Yeah, and now rook takes d4, I guess.
Yeah, that's a logical guess. I doubt you can play anything else.
Yeah.
Rook f1. Oh, sorry. Rook f1 is I assume the move.
I mean, that's
Okay, that's
because you're threatening f7
yeah.
and
So this
e6.
one is just not capturable.
Because then knight f7, king j8, knight h6.
Yeah, exactly. So
I mean, I guess rook f4, but no, then there's knight e6.
yeah. Okay, so now it's actually resignable.
Yeah. That's a strong move.
Yeah, that's a really good move. Can you try rook d2?
And knight f7.
Just king j8. But okay, he can just go rook f1.
Yeah.
That's really, really horrible. I just wanted to make a checkmate threat.
Yeah.
Maybe you miss it.
Sure.
But yeah, this is bad news. I'm not sure why he's okay. I mean, yeah, you gotta be thinking, but I think he's gonna resign. I have a feeling he's gonna play rook d2 or e6, one of them. It's just
But e6 just doesn't achieve anything. You can just
yeah, I
take,
know,
right?
but I have a feeling he's gonna play one of those two moves.
Okay.
or resigning. Resigning would be the most. But if he plays something, I think he's gonna go either rook d2 or e6. It feels like Anton to play one of those moves.
Okay. What about, let's say, h5? I don't know. Then knight e6, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it looks not great.
Or just lose some time. I don't know.
Okay, he
We'll
goes
see.
h6, but knight e6. Forcing the knight to take material.
Yeah.
But what else? Rook f1 now, though. Maybe then you go rook f4 and you say that you can open your bishop.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he's arguing that since there's no like time limit, you might as well play it out and see if you can
Exactly.
if you can win on time as you did last match.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously things are not looking so great, being down a full rook. And now white is gonna just start throwing his stuff into the position somehow. Queen f7 fold, but bishop e6 looks
Or
bad.
just
Or
exchanging
queen
queens.
e6.
You're threatening g6 as well, so I'm guessing queen g6 now. Or queen c8, I guess.
And
Makes sense.
bishop
Bishop
e6.
e6.
Yeah, that's gonna be checkmate. He's gonna play h5 probably too. He's still not resigning, but
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing you shouldn't do is
Yeah.
is go too far.
I mean, in time pressure, maybe mouse slip or something. There's no reason to resign, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit annoying.
You can take on b2 here, for example.
It's a bit annoying having to watch him play out all these positions, but from his point of view,
Yeah, I
It
mean, it would be
makes-
quite fun, though. I mean, dramatic at least, if he manages to make a comeback here.
yeah, and another time is sort of. But I guess you just go and take that pawn probably.
Yeah. Just don't take with the rook.
No, I think he's he's gonna take with the queen. Yeah, I doubt that he's taking it with the rook.
Okay, so he's got no time now, but he plays d5, queen g4.
He doesn't even take this pawn. Okay, now you can officially resign. Now you have nothing. But I guess he's still playing for the time. I suppose
Yeah.
he's used to playing bullet.
That's true.
But things are bad for him. But okay, 6 seconds. If you lose track of the time, maybe queen e8, queen c7. The thing is, it's so difficult to mate this king. Like,
I mean, bishop f4, queen g3. Suddenly you're gonna have to think as hard. Except there is queen
There's queen g3 immediately as well.
Okay.
Okay, but you just take this now and you win. Ooh,
Oh.
1 second. That was so not the way to go.
I mean, that's why you never resign, guys. Okay, but he's just playing.
Oh, and this was almost checkmate. There was a thread of checkmate, but he found it with queen f3.
Okay, he's.
This is all of a sudden somehow exciting.
We'll see.
But now it's checkmate. This has to be checkmate. Yeah, it's checkmate. Queen e8.
Queen h8 also, but yeah. Oof.
It was he made a fight from it.
Yeah.
I didn't think he would manage that for sure, but he actually made a fight.
So this time he plays something more exciting. He plays the English.
I mean, exciting, but
I mean, it's kind of exciting oftentimes.
Yeah, we get a Rossolimo type of structure with the pawn being on e4. Knight goes to c6 very early. Knight goes to h3. Wow, this is an interesting maneuver.
I guess he knows the theory.
Yeah, he definitely knows the theory. They're playing so quickly, but f4.
Do you go g4 here, or do you?
Okay, he does it, but I feel like now you're super happy with like having closed up the position a bit, and also there's some holes. But I guess you can maybe.
You could potentially.
But he's just
there.
gonna. Yeah, he's just gonna take it. But if you allow knight h4, what are your pieces doing? Like.
I mean, I guess you're gonna try to long castle and then.
But I put the knight
the
here,
on the
and then
E1.
exactly I put the pawn here. I put the knight here. I make it difficult for you to long castle because now this pawn is gonna run.
Right, but now h4.
Yeah, I think it was more useful to just put this knight here first because you don't really want to take this one. I think it was sort of a mistake not to do that.
Maybe.
Because you didn't have anything to lose from it.
Right. So h5.
And now he's gonna have to drop back.
Maybe yeah. Now g5, I guess. The problem is that black can always kind of close with the h6
yeah, that's
against the g6. Or
is he gonna
G6
try
against
this maneuver? You think queen 8, queen c6? That could be a very, very annoying maneuver to face. Actually, yeah. I don't know how you face it. Actually,
White's problem is kind of this d3 light square bishop, but you can't really do anything about it, which kind of sucks.
How do you stop this? Queen e8 or d7 to c6? Yeah, he plays queen 8. This queen can also go to f7, by the way.
Yeah.
So he stops that, but queen c6.
Okay. So,
how do you like?
But
this,
also,
this one is going.
You could consider that the light square bishops would want to get exchange, so knight g5, and then bishop takes, knight takes, and obviously black is better, but you know.
But black is just close to winning. There you take this, and then you take with the queen. Try to force off the exchange of the queens. You're just a pawn up.
Right.
And also, like, it's one thing that you want to exchange the light square bishops, but we also got to remember White's compensation for having these crippled pawns is the bishop pair.
Yeah. And now there's no longer that.
Yeah, after bishop c4 you will win. And now it's like you said, White can always play g6, but black will play h6. And if he plays h6, black will play g6. So now he's been allowed to even take with the knight. So avoiding that bishop exchange. And maybe he can even get the d2 bishop, which would be really, really good news. Yeah. And now he's just going to close it off with h6. And it's very difficult to make progress on the king side, and on the queen side you're just losing. I think
Vladimir's gonna win this quite.
I mean, we thought it would be convincing last time as well, but
yeah, true.
But I think you just go b5, you put the rook on b8. It's so
remember
easy
Anton
to play.
was 3-0 down against Martina, and then he kind of made a comeback. So we'll see.
That is true, and I'm not a massive fan of a3 because you do allow b3, and now I mean you can take on d2, but now it's a bit more difficult to. He goes for the.
So I guess maybe rook g1. Whoa! Oh, he wants he wants to sacrifice the exchange. Interesting.
Do you think he missed that the rook was hanging because he's thinking now?
Oh, right.
I think so. Rook c1. I get maybe he was afraid of like bishop takes b3 or something. I don't know. It's not a threat. I just have a hard time understanding why he would give up the.
Yeah.
Because this bishop is so bad, you know.
Yeah, true. I think he probably missed it. Yeah.
I mean.
This is probably resignable now. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, but I doubt he will resign. If he didn't resign last game, he will not resign this game either.
Right.
Especially since he was actually somewhat close to to escaping last game. But this is depressing.
Right. So c5.
Yeah, bad news. Now I think the cleanest way would be to go knight c6, b4, give the d4 square, and just
Yeah, and the bishop on c2
But
is just a big pawn.
But you can also just go for that and then c4, or something like this and c4.
Yeah. Now c3 is hanging. Are you gonna go?
Right, I didn't even notice that. Knight c6 and c4 is the idea. Or taking the pawn if you allow it.
Yeah, I mean,
or c4 immediately.
Checkmate. I mean, if queen takes c3, c4, and you're just losing.
But okay, you gotta be a bit careful because queen c3, bishop e1 almost traps the queen.
Yeah, true.
So like now, if you were to take the pawn, bishop. Okay, it's
no,
not.
It's just mate though, because b2.
That's true. That's true. It's just mate, and also you have queen e3, so it's just not close to. And now he's gotta go back to c4. That was not the greatest maneuver of all time.
And obviously on bishop e1 here, you can take on d3.
Or queen d4.
But then bishop f2 back.
And then take on d3. And then take on d2. And you win even more.
True.
But yeah, obviously he's gonna take this. And now the meanest way to do it is to just exchange everything.
Do that. Or you can just go back
I doubt
to
he
c7.
will do it. I think he will move the queen. No, he just
Yeah, right.
So yeah, I should flip the board. So basically, yeah, Anton has so he goes for the dragon. That's a bold decision to make.
I mean, it worked kind of against
That's
Martina,
true.
I guess.
That's true.
And Vladimir is playing this quite solidly with bishop e2 followed by castle.
And then bishop g5. Yeah, this is not really dangerous, I think. He just wants a game.
I think that's the good approach.
Maybe he noticed that Anton knew a bit of theory and now he just wants to get out of it and play chess. Because we have seen him blunder a few pieces.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a reasonable strategy. Now idea is b4, taking the e4 pawn, so a3 makes sense. Anton puts this bishop in line with the king. I do really, really enjoy Anton's position here. Like, this feels like the sort of the dream in the Sicilian for black.
Right.
To have this nice defensive bishop, but also this nice attacking bishop. Maybe you'd rather have the knight on d7, but apart from that, I feel like all the pieces have been positioned perfectly. That being said, White has also done the normal things, so...
Yeah, I mean, next maybe bishop f3 or queen e1.
Yeah, exactly.
Rook c8 makes a lot of sense. Maybe you want to go knight a5, knight c4.
That was not a good arrow. Exactly. What can White do? Bishop f3 makes sense. Now he's already eyeballing e5.
Right, so knight a5, maybe e5 is an idea.
And also, if you don't play knight a5, e5 is also an idea because you're pinned. So, and I think really the issue here is that you really want this knight on d7 when you have this setup. Because the knight on c6 is just so misplaced, you know.
Yeah. So he does go knight a5.
But you are moving away from the
center, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I
now
thought
you are allowing this, and then perhaps White is going to even continue by playing e6.
One annoying thing is as well that if you take, and you say drop the knight to e8, let's just say,
yeah,
you can swap the queen.
But wait, if you take on e5, you can take the queen immediately, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's an even better. I wanted to point out that thing, but I didn't do it in the best way.
Okay, so that makes.
So maybe he will take with the rook now in order to keep that thread alive. Because if knight b3, ef6 is annoying. Knight a1, fg7.
For example, also if rook takes knight e8, what are you guessing? Right, if rook takes knight e8, maybe if pawn takes d6, you know, you can take on a5 then, and if the queen takes e7 is hanging.
Oh, that's true. But he takes with the
queen.
queen. That also looks good because now you're not playing it tactically.
Maybe you gotta take on b3 though, and then if it takes on f6, you can take with the pawn.
Yeah, but I think you're going, if knight b3, I think you're going cb3 and knight d5. I think the move is knight d5, and how do you stop the, like, you can even throw a rook into d1 and then knight d5, and that is like you're mated.
Yeah.
Because the white pieces are so good. Now I think he's considering now whether or not he should throw in this move.
Or maybe if you should throw in knight takes a5 is also a possibility, because then at least you're winning a pawn, you know.
Yeah, but why not throw in rook d1
Yeah.
first in that case, and then queen c7 knight a5? That makes much more sense.
Sure. And then after queen.
The only issue would be if rook d1, if black somehow could go e4, but the problem is you could take, and then take this, and then take that.
Yeah. Also another thing after, yeah, exactly. Now after this, take on f6 after moving the knight, and then taking on e7. If you move the rook, f7 is suddenly hanging.
Oh, so you're just losing everything.
So you're gonna have to go e4.
Now is this move.
I think that's good. But you're gonna have to look out for maybe.
Oh, but now, isn't black okay now?
Yeah,
because the material is. I think black is better.
That's actually a possibility. But bishop takes f6.
You gotta go f5. I think.
Yeah, f5.
Or either take first and then f5.
Yeah, that was what
F5.
I was considering.
Because if you allow black to play f5, you're worse.
That's true. And also you're threatening c2.
Do you think he's gonna take bishop takes f6?
I don't think so. I think pawn takes makes more sense. And then.
But the problem is if
rook takes c2, is that a move?
He does take bishop f6. I'm kind of, but although it takes an f5, looks like it increases in strength. But maybe you're gonna want to take with the f pawn to strengthen that.
But after f5, rook takes c2, like he does defend
c3. But now you can go f5.
I think that was very good for Anton.
Yeah, that was really important defensive play, because now black is for sure not much worse. At least he's in the game, and he needs to be in the game as long as possible. So maybe Bochnicka did not do that in the most accurate way. There were probably some better ways to play there for Vladimir.
Right, but still a slight white edge, I think.
Yeah, because of the slightly better structure here, you can. One idea could be to break with a4 at the right moment to try to loosen up this pawn structure over here. Another idea is, as he's trying to indicate now, to bring the rook to d1.
Yeah.
You gotta watch out though, so that you don't go fall for any back ranks.
Of course. So I guess it's gonna go rook e4 next, and then put pressure on f4 while also doubling.
Rook e4 is a very nice move. I like that a lot. Rook e4 now, because rook d7, queen takes d7 is winning for black.
That's true.
That's sort of the typical trap. But obviously he's
G3,
not.
G3, and now rook e8. And now on rook d7, I guess.
Rook e1.
Queen c, rook e1 is a move.
Or queen c6 also.
Yeah, I was thinking about queen c6, but rook e1 is just winning immediately, no?
No, it's not, because you have
king c2, and then on rook e2, king h3.
But queen c6 would have been tricky, because you had the threat over
exactly. So now queen c6 also, I think it's an idea.
Queen c6 sort of pins this rook. Although you can't really attack it, it's useful to pin it.
Yeah. Or you can just go rook e2 immediately.
Yeah, I really like the way Anton has played this.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Queen b7, same idea. The rook is pinned. The rook is gonna come down and harass over here.
And he's got a lot of more time, you know? Now rook e1 maybe, and then queen b... No, actually maybe queen b6 first, because you don't want to allow queen d4.
That could be very true. I think black is just better here. For sure.
I think so. Maybe, what about... I'm not sure, actually. There's quite a lot of ideas.
Rook here. There's king here.
Can you try to just break with the h pawn, like h5, h4?
That's a very reasonable idea, I think. Just if you could get h3,
yeah, that would be amazing.
That would be really nice. But he's spending a lot of time, and he's
queen a7. I was also considering here, and now or rook d7. I guess queen.
But
c5.
I don't like queen c7. I think it's
gonna go into this endgame.
But white is not gonna take it. White is gonna play something else. Yeah, king h3. And now I'm not sure what the queen is doing here, really.
Yeah.
Queen e4 maybe.
It's kind of panicking, I think. So he tries to go into this endgame. I guess it is better for black.
Yeah, it makes sense. You have to go for that now, but.
And now b4 you go rook a2.
Yeah, but so it feels like you're never winning this with black, obviously.
But now take on c3.
It's gonna be a draw now.
I think so. But there's still no time, you know, for the draw.
Okay, Anton declines to draw. I think.
Rook a2. I mean, he's gonna have to win this. I mean, he has to if he wants to have a chance in the game, in the match.
Yeah, but you can't win this. I mean, it's
true.
Although, wait, the king is actually very poorly placed.
And now made in two. What? He missed it.
What?
But is there any way to prevent it?
Yeah,
G4. But still, then you have to give up the pawn because rook a3.
But how did he miss that?
I don't know. Rook a3. No.
But
Okay,
why did you actually? Feels like that was not.
King h5? Okay. But still,
But this is not.
is this winning?
winning? No, I don't think so.
Maybe it is though. I mean f5 or rook f4 also. King 8. Maybe you can go
But
up with the
how
king.
did he miss the
I don't know.
move?
That was insane.
How? It was the only way to win the position.
f5, f5. No. You're gonna have to break with f5 sometime, right? Okay, now maybe. Okay, that's fair. Now king f4. But now what? Black suddenly has some ideas. What about f4 and then rook c5, king d4, sacking the pawn? But no, maybe that
But
doesn't work.
how did he miss the
I
move?
don't know. It's insane.
I'm not over it yet. It was such a great game from Anton.
Yes.
Really a textbook performance.
Yeah.
And now he's enabled the king activity. Don't play d3. And now he's getting f4.
But not really, because
You
there's
can
maybe.
You can play it probably.
Yeah, probably.
This is clever because now rook to king d4. And now if you go for the same idea, then f4 and then check, and then you've given yourself the square on e3.
Yeah. Now you have to go f4, right?
Or king e3.
Yeah, true. King e3 is something.
King e3 played.
I think he's gonna win this because you're threatening rook d2.
No, but you're not really. He gives up that one,
Yeah,
but
this
checking
is just
king
winning.
f3.
King f3.
Yeah.
He's gonna win this. Whoa. Maybe he's making another comeback like in Martina game.
Yeah, he's gonna win this now.
Whoa. That's a solid
D3.
performance. Wow. Okay,
Or
goes
that.
that one.
Yeah, it's mate. Wow.
Wow.
He misses the mate and he wins anyways. He misses
Alright.
mate in 2 moves, but he still wins.
Okay.
Bit of a shock for Vladimir. I think the reason why he offered the draw so quickly was because he really was convinced that it was a draw.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll see bishop f4 just because? Yeah, he just wants to avoid the king's Indian.
Right.
And as soon as he saw d5, he was like, "Now let's go for the London." That doesn't surprise me at all.
No. I'm surprised he hasn't played a U-Bubble online. Yes. I mean, it's kind of his secret weapon, I guess, but
Not so secret, but
yeah. True. Okay, so now the most common move is queen b3, right? But this is quite comfortable for black after c4, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, I think you're not mistaken. I think you're absolutely right. You could go for queen c2 and hope for bishop f5.
Yeah, I actually did that in the game.
Yeah.
That wasn't very. Oh, he goes for this. Okay.
But this variation is just good for black. I
Yeah.
don't know why he's
I mean,
playing it like this.
I would probably take on b6 and then hope for some weakness on d5 in the end game, because like I've lost a few games like that as black.
Yeah, I think that's.
But that's always like.
No, but I
reason
think
for
that's how you're supposed to use.
Yeah.
You gotta take this, and then after ab6, you gotta
Yeah,
go knight to a3.
preventing b5.
Yeah, that's I think the way to go, because this is just, especially after this move queen d8, this is sort of depressing. He's opting for b3 now, but
I'm not sure if
once you played a4, b3 is less powerful.
Yeah.
The point was that if you play b3, black is gonna be just about in time to play b5. He plays a4 in order to support b3, so now Vladimir plays a6, white plays knight e5. He really wants this move b3, fighting against the move b5. And I suppose like it's not that horrible, but actually the truth is though the last game wasn't drawn, so a draw here is still fine. A loss here is also fine.
Yeah.
And now he finally gets his b3, but things I could have even taken that because of the move a4.
I'm expecting a castle perhaps. No, it does take immediately, so he's gonna try to go for the e4 break. So f3, I guess, is the next move. f3 e4.
Yeah, either that or try to step onto the b file using this bishop, but the problem is black will change it off.
Yeah.
So it's not
Rook
that effective.
e1. That's.
He's going for your idea with
Yeah.
e4, but I feel like you. Okay, actually, true, because you couldn't get in that because
Why
there
not?
were too many defenders.
But you also threatening c4, right?
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah, I don't know why he played Ricky.
But now I consider even taking on f6 just to go for this idea.
You can also take on d6 and
true.
go for the same idea, because then you also have this fork.
And also, when you take with the pawn, c4 is hanging with.
But the issue is, if you go f3, I will go e5 immediately.
Yeah.
Probably. But then you could go e4. It becomes very chaotic.
We'll see. So
He
it does
does
take
take
on
on
f6
f6.
because he wants to go e4 immediately. Actually, that's interesting.
But is it working?
I don't know. We'll see. I guess pawn take.
You gotta
Or bishop
take it at least because of the e5 move.
That's true. No, I like this approach actually. I would consider taking with the.
I would
bishop.
definitely consider taking with the
and
bishop.
then bishop takes, pawn takes, bishop takes c4. I mean, you're gonna have to look out for potential,
Something
queen
here.
h4. I guess exactly.
But
And
it
also
doesn't-
c3 is very weak.
But it doesn't seem like it seems logical to start with rook c8.
I mean, yeah,
I mean after
of course.
not here, but
So it does take with the pawn. Now knight takes, I would.
yeah, knight takes
suppose.
because you get a tempo on this one, which is kind of useful.
Right.
And then Vladimir is gonna retreat. Do you think he's gonna make a comeback here? He could be.
Anton, yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I mean it's not.
Knight takes. I guess knight e3 is an idea here, and then try to go for.
But I think you can never take this bishop, but,
Yeah,
but
of
you
course.
can definitely put the knight here. I like this move
Yeah,
too.
of course.
Just keeping it.
Maybe even g3 bishop g2 can be an idea. Just
Yeah, I mean
trying
for
to-
sure it can be an idea.
yeah, and you're preventing this. I mean, you're worsening the c7 bishop while also putting pressure on e4. So I like that. Now also a6 might be a weakness. So knight e3, you're threatening a6.
Yeah, knight e2 throws both pawns as well.
Yeah, true.
He goes knight e3.
I like white's position here.
Yeah, I dislike black. I really do. Because also in the long term, if you get this pawn to c5 in an endgame, like that pawn is gonna be strong. And black has obviously some weak stuff.
Yeah.
So definitely something has gone wrong here for Vladimir. This was not how.
So will we see maybe a5? I'm not sure.
It's a very passive move, but he plays it. I think you should really stay away from this bishop. I think
Yeah,
that's the
I
key. G3. I like that move. Just getting ready for bishop G2.
Maybe you can even put the bishop on b5.
He
Yeah,
plays
g3,
G3.
I like that.
Because also there was always gonna be some pressure here, so that makes
Yeah.
sense. And I like this approach as well. You're gonna try to pressure here. White is gonna try to keep it solid. Maybe in a dream world you would like to push forward here, obviously, but you're gonna have to be very careful about it. Black wants to use these weaknesses, but it's not easy because the bishop is a good defender, the knight is a good defender.
And also,
Do you think? Yeah, I was about to say that h5, h4.
but I was thinking just h4, but maybe there's g5.
Yeah, as soon as you play h4, at least you create something here. So,
If you play g5, potentially you can take on f5. Then,
but you
though.
can see, look at this time deficit.
Yeah. I think Anton has handled this game very well.
I think he's gonna win
Yeah, he might.
because of the
Uh,
time mainly.
I think maybe bishop g2 can never be a bad move, really. You're putting pressure on e4. Maybe you can move the knight next.
Knight c4.
Yeah.
Knight
Although that
c4,
is a bit
yeah,
risky because
that's-
of bishop g3.
That's
but
not a good move. Knight f1, maybe. I don't know.
that's a bit passive, though. What about just... What happens if you play c4? Is that
Yeah, I
too much
was
of a
a-
commitment?
I was
or-
about to ask it too. I mean, you gotta reckon with bishop e5.
But then just rook d1?
Yeah, that was definitely a possibility. You can do it here as well. c4.
Yeah, I like c4.
It feels like if you're gonna make progress.
Also d5.
Yeah, but d5 queen c3 though.
Yeah, true.
Whoa!
Oh! I didn't see that.
Me neither. And I don't think Bochnicka did it either.
But now,
But c3 is hanging, so I wonder who really gained from taking
Yeah.
that pawn.
what about queen
Queen-
g5 or queen g4? Because you might be able to play h5, I was thinking.
Yeah, I get it.
So
Queen c3, you go h5.
you gotta look out for maybe bishop d8, but you always
Yeah,
have
but then
queen
you
g4,
go queen g4.
and you can't play f5 because the bishop is hanging. So
So you could though, yeah, he plays queen g4. You could
also e4 is under pressure,
you could
so,
do something like queen c3 and after h5 bishop f5. I think that's what he's gonna choose.
But
No,
now
he lost
h6. I mean, suddenly e4 is also hanging. So
Because also if you play g6, look at that bishop.
yeah, I mean,
Oh,
right.
that is annoying. Okay, now maybe Anton is losing all of a sudden.
I don't know what's happening.
I didn't even see that.
No, me neither.
Also,
Is it really?
I should inform you that we do not have the board
What?
up at the moment.
Oh no, that's so sad.
I just
yeah.
noticed that.
What even
That's-
happened? Did we press some button accidentally?
Or maybe we had that for a long time.
No, okay,
No.
it wasn't for long.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a
what
bit strange, but yeah.
we must have accidentally pressed something. So black is a pawn up, which is kind of impressive considering how the position was earlier. Now you gotta throw in rook takes d8 probably.
And then maybe queen takes a5 as well.
There was a check though, and queen h6. That was very good, I thought. Now you go for. I thought you go for this endgame, and you.
But queen e8 now.
Yeah, I thought you would make sure that you get at least a draw, and then the next.
Like
game...
any result can happen. Yeah, that's the truth. Because look at the time.
Okay, but actually, there's a big threat of queen a1 and rook h5.
Yeah, how do you defend against that? I mean, you have bishop f1.
Doesn't. That's also a threat. Okay, he goes bishop f1.
And now on queen a1, I guess you go queen a6.
Yeah.
Bishop f5. That's a good
turning
move.
This one king g2. You could go bishop h3 now. That is very close to mate. But you do get e4 if you want it.
All right.
But now you can mate.
Yeah, or not. Or win the queen.
Okay, yeah, that's
well played by Vladimir. That's unfortunate that he missed queen d4 in that game because it was really well by Anton.
Yeah. Now he's kind of, because allowing this fourth game now,
he can Vladimir take a draw.
Vladimir finds one repetition and it's over. And
yeah.
I mean, he's gonna find one repetition somewhere. So this is typical Anton as well. He's gonna go for early d5, I think. It's one of the lines. Okay, but he's actually choosing a more quiet version. I know he plays a lot of early d5, but he's choosing to play
he goes d5 anyway.
I think it's a bit
quite bad for black.
Yeah, it's
rook e1 and suddenly e5 is under a lot of pressure.
You're not supposed to play those slow moves and then go d5.
We'll see. He knows.
I doubt it.
He's played quite quickly, but maybe that's just out of frustration.
Yeah, it could be. Okay, f5 is surely too much to ask.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, queen b3, and you're kind of.
Yeah, but it feels like you kind of survived more than you should as black here.
Yeah,
I feel like this should not have been.
But knight g3 and e5 is.
Oh, yeah, that's bishop f5 is a poor move. I think bishop e6 was.
Yeah, bishop f5 is not a typical idea anyway, so.
No, it's a very strange square to put the bishop on.
Okay, so knight takes.
You'd like to have the bishop here, then you always have some bishop f2 tricks, but now I think this is just a pawn.
I mean, you're gonna have to look out for knight b6 though, because d3 is under a bit of pressure.
Okay, that's actually true. So you mean take and knight b6?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you survive there as black.
But you're probably not gonna win, and that's.
You could also just say that, okay, I don't need it. I drop here. I'm ready to go here. And how do you actually defend this pawn? It's a bit awkward.
Yeah.
Because f6 is a horrible move. He does go for the pawn.
You're also gonna have to look out for bishop d6 followed by bishop g3 stuff. Well, unless you go to e3 with the rook, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think that's today. But this is actually, I'm not sure how you're supposed to respond to this. I didn't like taking the pawn.
I would consider maybe queen e2. I mean, but then maybe.
Yeah, but then d6. There's. I mean, yeah, but there's always like if you go for such a structure, there's always some sort of compensation with the bishop pair. Yeah. It's sort of Marshallish compensation,
right,
for the pawn. So I think this is now fine for Anton, but obviously it could lead to an endgame where white just draws very easily.
Yeah.
And that could be an issue. So I will see what he chooses here. I mean, I cannot imagine playing anything else than knight c4. Although you technically don't need to do it right now because the bishop isn't going anywhere. It still would feel extremely strange to do something else. Like maybe you can go.
What about bishop d6?
But if you go there, you allow bishop. Oh, but you can take this.
Yeah, and then d3 is hanging. Well.
Okay, that might explain why he didn't play anything. No, he's actually thinking. Yeah, he goes for this.
And will he go into the endgame or not? Maybe
the problem is, I mean,
bishop d6,
knight e4.
Yeah.
If you allow him to trade one of your bishops, you just don't have any compensation. But actually, the more I look at it, the more unpleasant it is because it's difficult to avoid it. I guess that makes sense though. You want to put the bishop on f8.
Yeah.
But white is going to put it on f4, I thought. But he goes to e3. Bishop d6. Yeah, now is a good timing for bishop e6, bishop d6 because obviously knight e4 was not possible. So queen f3, attacking the pawn. You could go c6 maybe to just defend that. Makes a lot of sense, I think.
Right.
Because yeah, I mean, you don't want to give up this pawn, but there's nothing wrong with c6. I guess he's worried about rook d1.
Yeah.
But you can go queen c7. Looks like it's all right for black in there, but obviously also actually this move is really unpleasant as well to deal with. So he plays queen c8 in order to protect that one. But it feels like when you're going passive like this, you're a pawn down, you're a minute down on the clock, and you have to win.
Yeah.
The odds are sort of piling against him now, and White is starting to use his majority, and now bishop d4. I think that's very bad news for Anton because he can in best case scenario he goes for this and he goes for the draw, but with opposite color bishops. But even that is probably much better for White.
Yeah, exactly.
Because of this active bishop you can use towards here with h4 h5, I guess. But anything else is just like if you take this bishop, you're just completely losing. So he goes for this, but even if you were to swindle now, there's always opposite color bishops. So this is just
c6.
Never.
On h4, I guess you always respond with h5.
I guess you go queen f5.
Yeah, of course.
Just to.
But like, for example, take on e8, take, and then h4.
Plays h4 immediately. Queen f5 played. But I mean, if I were White here, I would probably just try to start exchanging pretty soon. Just secure my victory in the match.
I mean, rook e5 is even an idea.
Yeah, I was about to suggest that. Just go for all these mass exchanges, and then you can never lose. Not even in this format like this. He just goes for this. That also makes sense because black is gonna have to. I mean, the way to defend such a position with black is to exchange at some point, but if you do, then you
maybe I guess you can maybe go like queen c2. That I guess that's his idea with the h5.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because you're gonna have to go for these weak pawns.
And you have to get counterplay, and the rook d1 is sort of unnecessary.
Yeah.
Now he actually gets counterplay.
But rook e1, and you're gonna have to exchange on e3. But no, we'll see. I guess g7 is a bit of a weakness.
Yeah, I mean the problem is White is gonna go for an attack here. Black gets some stuff, but queen e5.
Yeah, and suddenly you're gonna have to go f6, and that's not a move you want to do. I guess that's what he has to do if he wants to win.
Yeah, queen e3 will be played, or rook e3, baby. It's a bit unnatural, but you do have the square on h2, so it doesn't hurt you. And now queen e5, f6.
f6,
queen c7, I think, because you're enabling rook e7, you're enabling rook g3, you're threatening, you're putting pressure here. This is winning for White. I'm pretty sure, because you all heard the saying that you should use the opposite color bishop as a way to attack your opponent.
But you also have to remember, let's say.
And he's losing on time as well.
Yeah.
Okay, that was one way too.
All right.
To end it.
So they've ended right now, I think.
Okay, so we can check with them if they wanna disconnect.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, but it was pretty over anyways. So.
That's true. Hey guys. Do you hear us?
Yeah, maybe they don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he disconnected last game.
Yeah, we saw, but I assume it wasn't.
So we should do another one or what?
I don't know.
No, I think it wouldn't have changed, probably, or like I mean.
Oh.
Okay,
I
so
think,
I guess his internet is pretty bad.
I think it probably wouldn't have changed the match result. I doubt it. So yeah, I think it's fine.
Yeah, like we could take it as a draw or something.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think this would have been
Yeah,
anything
I doubt
else.
I doubt he's winning that last game, even if he doesn't disconnect.
Oh,
But okay, what we can start with you since Anton seems to be having some issues. What did you think about the match? Were you
oh,
ever?
at start I thought he
I think we both.
misclicked the first game or what. I didn't understand Queen f2 maybe. Maybe he wanted to play Queen e1, I'm not sure.
Oh,
But
Yeah, maybe he just forgot that the queen was hanging.
yeah. I mean, we'll mess up, I guess.
Were you ever? Were you ever a
yeah,
bit
then
scared after he?
second game he also yes.
Yeah, were you ever a bit scared after he won the third game? It looked like
Yeah, he won the third game and
we thought he had
yeah,
a.
but I wasn't too scared because
Yeah.
I felt like I had it under control, but that was terrible end game for me. The third game or fourth
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whichever it
Did
was.
you? I assume you noticed that he had a mate in two earlier as well that he missed. He could have just played like G4 and rook takes H2 and made it.
Yeah, so I saw it. I thought like, wow.
Yeah,
I,
we were a bit surprised. But okay, maybe we'll try Anton now, see if he's able to talk with us now.
but
Anton, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, what did you think about the match?
No, I mean, I played very bad. Obviously, it
It's
was
almost like
not
everyone
high
says that
quality.
whenever they lose the match.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, we probably think that your Queen F2 from the first match is maybe not the greatest move ever played.
No, of course,
Um,
but my strategy was just to play very fast and hope hope for something. It didn't seem to work out though.
Yeah.
I just got horrible positions
If I
and
remember,
played very
was it the
badly also.
fourth game? Yeah, I think Antti, you had a pretty decent position there in the London system.
Yeah,
But then you missed this defensive resource with, what was it, Queen takes D. No, yeah, it was Queen takes D4, right? And then suddenly you were just losing.
yeah.
yeah, well, well, thank you guys for playing. You guys both have one group stage match left, and then after that it's the knockouts. So yeah, thank you for playing, and we'll see you then.